Welcome to our Fasting Friday episode. Today, pag-aaralan natin yung pinakamabisa at pinakamadaling schedule for those na gustong gumaling and most importantly, sa mga gustong magsisimula pa lang ng kanilang intermittent fasting schedule. My name is Dr. Josephine Grace Rojo Tan, also known as your Diet Doctora, and we are promoting a lifestyle na para sa inyo, a low inflammatory level lifestyle, a healing lifestyle, and that is through nutrition by eating low carb meals and of course incorporation of intermittent fasting, and there are different kinds of fasting at yun nga kung kayo ay magsisimula pa lang or if feel ninyo na hindi pa ganon kaganda yung inyong journey when it comes to LCF lifestyle, then you might want to incorporate this very easy and very effective na fasting schedule. At yon ay tatawagin nating circadian fasting. So, circadian fasting with the first word circadian, that is related to our night and day or wake and sleep cycle sa ating katawan. When we correct our daytime and nighttime schedules, our hormones in the body can also be corrected. Circadian rhythm, siya yung mother of our regulation sa ating katawan when it comes to hormonal controls and pati sa ating mga metabolism and of course, healing. So, yung pinakamabisang way for us to correct our metabolism actually is to correct first our circadian rhythm. However, madali lang sana yon when it comes to sleeping patterns and work schedule. Pero maraming mga iba na with the modern day na lifestyle, iba't ibang work schedule, nagkakaroon ng mga night shift, nasisira yung ating circadian rhythm. So now we are going to correct them by incorporating fasting. So fasting first is, define natin, ito yung conscious and deliberate na effort na hindi muna kumain. So, ang ating minimum na fasting is 12 hours. So, 12-12. Hahatiin natin sa dalawa yung ating 24 hours na sa isang araw. So, di ba, we have 24 hours per day. Kung hahatiin natin yan sa dalawa, the first number would be your fasting schedule, and then your other hour would be your eating schedule or eating window. So 12-12, ibig sabihin 12 hours na fasting and then 12 hours na eating window. So paano natin yan i-apply sa ating circadian fasting? So we have to look into our sunrise and sunset. So, lalagay tayo ng sun rays dyan para alam natin na we are looking into the day and night cycle ng ating way of eating. So, dapat kakain lang tayo when there's still sun, and dapat naka-fasting na tayo kapag gabi na, when there's already moon and stars kasi gabi na. So, supposedly, by nature, hindi na tayo kumakain kapag madilim na because wala namang refrigerator before, wala namang delivery, walang 24/7 na convenience store. So by nature, hindi talaga tayo sanay na kumakain ng gabi. And studies show eating late at night can lead to even more problems when it comes to our cardiovascular health. Yung mga sudden death while sleeping, yung mga sudden heart attacks, cardiac na mga problems. So those are usually happening after a very, very full meal at natulog na lang ng gabi. So that is why we will go back to our natural tendencies talaga dapat, and that is by eating when there is still sun. So kapag nandyan pa si Mr. Sun, you can enjoy your meals kasi yun naman talaga yung ating nature. It's just that hindi rin po ito kailangang very, very early in the morning. However, for those who want to start, so pwedeng magsimula muna sa pinakamadali. So, yung pinakamadali, as early as sunrise. So, example, sunrise is at 6 a.m. So, you can already enjoy your breakfast. So, you can have eggs, you can have vegetables, and you can have fish. Pwede rin other kinds of meat, like ano mga paborito ninyo? Fried chicken, and you can also have pork or other seafood. So, yon. Importante when it comes to fasting is what food you eat to break your fast. Kasi sobrang dali lang hindi kumain. But the benefits na makukuha ninyo after the fast ay pwedeng mawala or pwedeng hindi na ganon kaganda if you are going to jeopardize it by eating the wrong food. So that's why, as much as possible, during your 12-hour eating window, yung 12-hour eating window na ito, you eat only nutrient-dense, low-carb meals. So, nutrient-dense and DLC. So, nutrient-dense, low-carb meals. And you can enjoy that time. Kung busog na kayo, you can stop eating. But if you are still hungry, after 12, after 3 hours, after 4 hours, especially sa mga nagsisimula pa lang, you can still eat another set of nutrient-dense, low-carb. Hindi kailangang tinapay or biskwit or mga chichirya yung gagawin yung in-between meals. You can enjoy and savor the same nutrient-dense, low-carb meals even after eating in between your major meals. So, ibig sabihin, pwede kang mag-snacks ng pork chop, pwede kang mag-merienda ng galunggong, pwede kang mag-in-between na meals or light meal na eggs and vegetables as long as it's nutrient-dense, low-carb. So you can enjoy these foods until 6 p.m. So that's the average sundown. So that is our circadian fasting. Pwede kang kumain during this time. Okay? You can enjoy all these foods from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. This is especially important para sa mga taong madaling mabusog and ayaw ng mas pumayat pa, or those who want to gain weight. You can actually eat even 5 times a day, although that's very hard to do, especially sa mga nasanay na mag-low carb. So, you can just eat 1 meal a day, 2 meals a day, depending on your weight goal and then your health goal. But the most important thing is you don't need to worry so much. You can enjoy food 2 meals, 3 meals, even 4 meals kung nagsisimula pa lang kayo. Why am I saying kapag nagsisimula pa lang? Because for those who are already used to low carb and fasting lifestyle, nakikita ka kasi nila na hindi na ganoon kagrabe yung appetite. Once you are appetite corrected, you will see just eating 1 to 2 meals a day is already good enough. Paminsan-minsan na lang, pang special occasions na lang, yung merong mga in-between snacks or up to 3 meals a day. So after 6 p.m., ano yung gagawin nyo? So you can already start the fasting time. So in here, you are already fasting from 6 p.m. until 6 a.m. the next day. Okay? So, wala ka na bang pwedeng kainin dito? Wala ka na bang hindi ka na ba pwedeng uminom ng tubig? Of course not. When it comes to fasting, meron tayong tinatawag na clean fasting, and you can still enjoy water. And since gabi na, you can enjoy a warm cup of tea, plain, and yung hindi masyadong walang cream, walang milk. And also, if you can have some coffee, you can also have that. But as much as possible, try to avoid coffee late at night because it can disrupt your circadian rhythm. Kung pwede pa lang, you can enjoy your coffee during this time. So, para yung caffeine effect would not be there by the time you sleep. Have an allowance of 8 to 12 hours from your last coffee intake and your sleeping pattern. Okay? So, kung matutulog ka ng 8, ng 10 in the evening, I hope you're already done with your coffee by 12 or by at most 2 o'clock. But after that one, huwag na, because we are trying to correct your system's malfunctions over the years because of how we disrupted our circadian rhythm. So you can enjoy water and tea. However, before you sleep, wag na pong masyadong sobrang dami ng tea and water. Kung pwede, 2 to 4 hours before sleeping time, meron kayong allowance na wala na rin kayong tea and water. And that is what we already call as dry fasting. So just a 10-hour dry fasting is already okay. So say for example, from around 8 in the morning, 8 in the evening, tapos ka na uminom ng iyong coffee and tea. So you can actually have dry fasting until morning by 6 a.m. By 6 a.m. paggising mo, pwede ka nang mag-enjoy ng water, coffee, and tea again. So again, circadian fasting is having your eating window while the sun is up. And if ever sa mga ibang gumagawa nito but they're not very, very successful, or nag-stall na yung kanilang weight, nag-stall na yung kanilang mga progress, then maybe it's time to upscale your game. So from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., maybe you can now move on to another schedule, which is like 14:10. So how's 14:10? So gagawin nyo ng mas matagal yung inyong fasting window. So that's 14 hours and 10 hours eating window. So paano yan? Hindi ka na kailangan magmadaling gumising just for you to eat. You can start eating at 8 a.m. and you can still enjoy the same foods. Pwede pa rin kayong mag-allocate ng 2 meals, 3 meals, 4 meals kung gusto ninyo, as long as it's nutrient-dense, low-carb until 6 p.m. And for those na pag-check nila ng kanilang blood pressure, blood sugar, still very high, meron pa rin insulin resistance, and nakikita nila na yung kanilang visceral fats, fatty liver, ay nandyan pa rin, then maybe you can accommodate increasing it a little more in 1 to 2 weeks time. Sobrang dali lang pong mag-transition from 12:12 to 14:10, and we can now proceed to 16:8. So anong ibig sabihin ng 16:8 schedule? So 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours of eating window. So how can you accommodate that? Just add 2 hours na extra. So kung sa morning ka mag-adjust, so you can have a 10 a.m. na breakfast and 6 p.m. na last intake mo na. For example, you want to enjoy, just like mommy, gusto niyang mag-enjoy ng breakfast with Bibi. So gusto niya mag-breakfast ng 6 a.m. early morning. Pero gusto rin niya mag-fasting. So, she actually closes her eating window by 2 p.m. So, by 2 p.m. pa lang, tapos na siyang kumain. And this is still the same 16:8. So, kayo lang po mag-a-adjust as long as your eating window is pasok sa time na kung saan meron tayong daytime or merong sun. And yung atin namang fasting window, it can be extended from an overnight fast, going daytime, or you can close your dinner. Pwede nyong tapusin ang inyong hapunan as late as possible. And when it comes to mga low carbers and intermittent fasters, hindi na tayo masyadong tumatawag ng dinner. Hindi na natin silang tinatawag na dinner or breakfast. Sometimes we just call them simply as first meal or last meal. Okay? So first meal or last meal, that can indicate your eating window from breakfast or the first meal and your last meal now, wherein you will now close your eating window. So that is circadian fasting. And ano naman yung mangyayari para sa mga naka-night shift? So don't worry, kahit pa po nagtatrabaho kayo ng gabi na wala ng sun and that's the time that you are most active, you can still apply a modified na circadian fasting. So, a modified circadian fasting, hindi na tayo magbabase sa ating sun rays. So, we are going to modify it according to your working schedule. So, the most important part with this modification is yung time from your last meal and your time to rest. So, for example, sobrang opposite yung trabaho mo. You get out of work at 6 a.m. and or 6 p.m. 5 a.m. You get out from work from 5 a.m. So, matutulog ka na traveling. Ang iyong sleeping time is 6 a.m. So, that is when you sleep. So, usually, diba, kapag natulog ka ng pagdating mo ng galing trabaho, so you can sleep maybe around until 2 p.m. So, this is where you can actually fast. So, eto yung magiging sleeping fasting mo. So, yung nagpa-fasting ka habang natutulog, it's a sleep fast, and you can already have breakfast if this is where you will wake up. So, pwede kang kumain na by 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. However, yung last meal mo ay magdedepend kung anong oras ka matutulog. So, if you are going to sleep by 6 a.m., minus 6 hours ka lang dyan. So, minus 6 hours ng 6 a.m., and that is 12 midnight. Okay? So, by 12 midnight, dapat yun na yung last meal ninyo para mabigyan ng pagkakataon na whatever you eat on your last meal ay matutunaw pa ito so that you will sleep on an empty stomach. Mas maganda kasi when we eat on an empty stomach because that is when the magic of healing will happen. kapag natutulog tayo, na punong-puno yung tiyan natin, instead of our body focusing on rest and recovery, hindi na niya magagawa yon because it is busy digesting the food that you are eating. So dapat we can just give it a break. 6 hours ideally, but if hindi kaya, you can lower it to up to just 4 hours. So 4 hours minus 6 a.m. So that is 2 a.m. So di ba merong mga lunch breaks sa call centers ng madaling araw. So you can have that one. So at minimum, at least 4 hours yung difference between your last meal and your sleeping time. And also, when it comes to your water intake, you can just have at least 2 hours na difference from your sleep and your last bulk, yung pinakamaramihan ninyong water intake. So that magkakaroon din kayo ng bladder rest. So, bowel and bladder rest. So, magpapahinga muna yung inyong urinary system and your gastrointestinal system. So, before sleeping, magwiwi na kayo para hindi na madistorbo yung inyong pagtulog. So, that is our circadian fasting. That is the easiest and most effective when it comes to healing. Hindi nyo kailangan magmadali na mag-extended fasting agad-agad. You don't need to do that. Give your body its needed time to rest and be okay and be happy with your progress because kahit pa naka 1 year na kayong naglo-low carb at nagpa-fasting at feeling ninyo ay sobrang tagal na yon yung inyong paghihintay, but that is still not enough as compared to gaano katagal nating inabuso yung ating katawan. Whatever your age right now, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, imagine kung gaano katagal natin inabuse yung katawan natin. So we shouldn't hurry and give it time to recover. At tutulungan natin yan with the right way of fasting, starting with the easiest and most effective schedule for healing, especially for beginners. That is our 12-12 circadian fasting, and you can move it as long as you can. Pwede kang mag 18-6, pwede kang mag 24, and so much more. So that's our episode for today. Every Friday, we will talk about nothing but everything about fasting as part of our LCF Lifestyle Talk with yours truly, Dr. Josephine Grace Rohotan. So maraming salamat everyone. I hope to see you in the upcoming National Low Carb Day on December 4, 2022. And of course, to our mga meet and greet na participants in Dumaguete, I'll see you there on October 22 and also in Boracay in November 29. So maraming salamat po. And of course, to our partners who have been very, very supportive of our National Low Carb Day. So sa mga ngayon pa lang sa ating LCF Lifestyle Talk, every day we will have a new video coming up and iba-iba po per day. Ito yung mga topic natin each day.